Welcome to the Nagual Zone. I'm Anaam. Today I want to talk to you about the universal reasons that the average man changes. These two other reasons. There's really any other reason is negligible in comparison to these two reasons. Last time, I think a couple of times ago, last time, I don't remember, we talked about change, right? Buddha said that change is the universal constant. Change is the only constant. You will be required to change in your life. You will be. It's not a philosophy. You can't argue against it and leave stupid comments on my channel about it. You will be required to change. You will be required to change by life. Life will require you to change. So let's stop arguing about that and really accept that, display a little bit of intelligence and accept that, right? Because you get fools arguing this kind of nonsense as well. Change is inevitable. The problem is, when you should have been taught how to deal with change in life, you are learning x squared plus y squared equals z squared. That's what you were really learning. You were cutting up poor innocent frogs to look what the hell is inside frogs and putting Latin names onto each part of the frog. Can you imagine how absolutely insane that is? Absolutely insane. Latin names, no one uses this language. The regions of the moon are all in Latin. Mare nostrum and mare pistrum and mare fucking distrum and dostrum and all the planets. They're all regions are all in Latin. And people just, no one questions this stuff. Every single country is named in Greco-Roman language. From Alaska to Kenya, Tanzania, Africa, Japan, Australia, Egypt. Egypt is a Greek word. The real name of that region is Kemet. The real name of Japan is Nippon. The real name of India is Bharat. It's all Greco-Roman bullshit. Neo-Rome, which is crumbling now, the Roman Empire is crumbling now in front of our very eyes. Right? So, change is inevitable. Going back to the topic. Once we accept that and we realize that the reason why I have trouble changing in my life is because I don't know how to do it. And secondly, it's important to realize that the only time I will change, really change, is when these two come into the play. Either I'm getting paid or I'm getting laid, or a combination of both. It's the only time I'm going to change. Think about it. People will not change. Even death is not sufficient to make these people change. But put money into the equation. I've proved it. People become Zen masters. Instantaneous, no gap, no going to Tibet and studying under Dalai Lama for 50 years. Instantaneous change. Because they got paid to do it. Second is the mating instinct, getting laid. And it's not just a one night stand, I'm gonna change because in order to get laid. That's not what I'm talking about. It's the hooks that come with relationships. He's my boyfriend, he's my girlfriend, right? Getting paid, getting laid, that's the only two motivating factors for the average man to want to change. Well, Patrick, Hollywood, yes, absolutely. Why not? But we don't see evidence of that. What we see evidence of is that, right? And that. We see evidence of that. Why? Because the only any other reason is negligible, not even worth mentioning. I'll give you an example. Many years ago, I talked to a person who used to take advice from me, and their main complaint was they've been trying to stop smoking for the last 30 years. They started smoking when they were 9 years old, and they have tried everything. Oh my God, the patches and the whatever, they've tried it all many times, gave up and come back, just can't quit smoking. All right, that's their big defining story of their life. That's what they're using to feel grand, feel like, yeah, I exist. Look, I'm important. See, this is my story. Okay. I said, all right, do you know that there's an instantaneous way of changing? He said, no, surely you're joking, and, disbelief. I said, no, it's true. You will experience it right now. I whipped out my phone. I said, look, here's all this thousands and thousands of pounds in my bank account. You can see it, right? He said, yes. I said, out of these thousands, some money will start going to you. You're broke. You wouldn't know how to rub two pennies together. You're useless. You're broke. Imagine all this money. I will pay you. I've done it already. I did it in front of him. I put it in his account. I will pay you £500 into your account every month. Think about it. 500 extra pounds. You're bloody broke. You don't even have money for food. £500 in the bank every month. There's a condition. Yeah, you guessed it. I told him this will keep happening, but you have to stop smoking. You touch a cigarette and I'll know. Believe me, I'll know it. And all that money I will reclaim back, whatever you've been accumulating. He already had £500. He said, no, surely this is a scam or a joke or something. No, I'm not joking. Go and spend it. Spend that money right now. You can go and spend it. So we went off to the pub and I said, pay with the money you have. Pay for the drinks with the money you have. You will see it's not a scam. I actually have transferred money to you. That's when the penny dropped. When the pay came, when he actually paid the money for the drinks, he said, you know what? I would like to return this money to you, and I have learned the lesson. I've got it. I was changing. I had changed. I decided to not smoke because all this money is juicy, right? So obviously the whole thing was to make a point to him, and he was decent enough to return it. But then if he didn't return it, I couldn't care less because I can generate as much as I like. It doesn't matter to me. Point being, the average man has all these rubbish stories that they drag around so that they don't have to change, right? But as soon as two factors come into being, getting paid or getting laid, they'll change. Getting laid. You got a wife of 30 years and she says, right, I'm taking the kids and myself out of the house and away, and we shall never see you again unless you change. That comes under getting laid. You will change. You will change. If you're extra stubborn and stupid, she will have gone off with the kids, and then you'll realize, oh, I better change. But for most people, it doesn't come to that. Thank you, Colin. That's fantastic. Thank you. Yeah. Getting paid and getting laid. Now, here's the thing with the warrior. The warrior comes along, and the warrior realizes very quickly that the whole game, the Toltec game, is all about changing. Really, it is. It really is. You can ask my apprentices. they will unhesitatingly acknowledge that, oh my God, the whole thing is about changing, and changing at levels which you wouldn't have believed possible. And, we start small. And the Toltec path, we don't change, we keep these two rubbish reasons aside, getting paid and getting laid. We start changing because we need to get away. Getting paid and getting laid are not enough. Getting away is the priority, means freedom. You want to step out of the matrix, not damage control your life in the matrix. You've got only that much energy, right? You can either invest that energy, time, and effort into damage controlling your life in the matrix, or you can spend that same time, energy, resources into freeing yourself from the matrix. How do we get away? Well, the way I do it, the way I did it, and the way I get my apprentices to do it, is start with the book, The Power of Now, written by Eckhart Tolle, not the audio book. There's nothing called an audio book. There's nothing like that. It's a fucking MP3. It's not a book. A book means it's got pages and you read. That's a book. So read that book cover to cover 3 times. Yeah. And then find a benefactor. But that's the starting of it. And this is, that I've given this advice before, right? The warrior's motivations make all the difference in the warrior's life. If you give up these 2 bullshit motivations to change, which are cheap motivations, they are prostituting motivations. You want to be bribed to change. If you don't get bribed, if life doesn't become difficult or impossible, you won't change. You won't step out of that depression. You'd rather kill yourself than step out of that depression. Yeah, think about it. Yes, I know where you're at. You'd rather kill yourself. You're that stupid. You'd rather kill yourself than change. Well, I'll tell you, I could cure your depression instantaneously. Getting laid, getting paid. You wouldn't believe how powerful these are in the average man's life. Yeah, you got that story of depression. Oh, depressed. I take medication. Scientists have discovered that it is genetic. Scientists have discovered that there is nothing you can do about it. Scientists have discovered that it is a chemical condition. It's the chemicals. Scientists have discovered. Yeah, fuck you. Do 10 push-ups. And let's see what happens to your depression. Go and do some Tai Chi. Let's see what happens to your depression. Oh, but I don't feel like doing it. That's what depression is all about. Yeah, I start paying you money, your depression will disappear instantaneously. Yeah, that's how much of a bitch you really are. Right? So don't come whining on this channel, because this channel ain't for whiners, man. Don and I'm keeping it real. To tell you the truth, guys, this channel is a great release valve for me in a sense. You know why? Because in the ordinary world, in the average man's world, I'm constantly stalking. So here, I feel like I can keep the stalking away, or at least bring it right down, and just let out the claws, the tiger claws. The warrior realizes that freedom is well worth changing for. Write this down if you can. Write this down. Etch it in your heart. Etch it in your mind. Etch it in your being. The warrior realizes that freedom is well worth changing for. Freedom is well worth changing for. Freedom is well worth any price, any price, any price you could pay. Any price. The Christians have a great concept, you know. It's a toxic, manipulative, very, 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 it's evil. It's an evil idea. But it gets results, and I'll tell you what. The idea is you need to be saved to, be with Jesus and all the 7 heavenly virgins, and you will get, the Muslims, whatever, these idiots are all the same. It's all manipulative, demonic nonsense, right? But the idea is sound. It gets people to change. It gets people to change. You have prisoners discovering Jesus, and they become ideal citizens, model citizens. They give up their evil ways. And I found Jesus, Jesus the Lord, Jesus the Lord. I used to be one of them. I've done it all when it comes to Christianity. There are very few Christians, including many big shot preachers, who have kind of practiced Christianity to the level I have when I was in a particular Christian cult. I was more hardcore than hardcore. But that's my predilection. I really like to do things impeccably, right? This mechanism of you need to be saved and you need to change, right? You need to change. Because, and then once you're saved, you will have heaven. For the warriors, it's a bit more realistic. If you change, you move towards more freedom. So that's a lot more married to actual reality, as in nature, natural living, as opposed to this demonic nonsense. It is a death cult. It's a demon worshipping death cult, and I can break that right down for you, and you will by the end agree, oh, I see, it is. But we won't go into that right now. These the big three patriarchal ones, they're demon worshipping death cults. At the center of them is a demonic force. In demonology, you could call it a demonic force, right? In the Toltec world, we just give it the name the predator. It's a lot more accurate. What the hell is a demonic, blah, blah, blah. A predator is more accurate. So change, freedom, you will be saved. It's all the same stuff. But freedom is a bit more holistic to go for, right? It's a bit more holistic to go for. So stop and noticing yourself. Notice in yourself. Verify what I'm saying, what you're hearing now. The power of change, the power now. Verify what I'm saying in your life and in others' life. Observe that people's motivations boil down to 2 main reasons: getting paid and getting laid. Observing yourself. Be very, very honest. Whenever you're resisting change, you feel like a little bit like, oh my God, yet again, and I'm not changing. You're feeling frustrated. You're feeling like, what will it take to change me? At that point, remember, would it take getting laid or getting paid to change? Would I change? How quickly would I change if those were real possibilities? That will help you. That will give you energy. You will say, look, okay, so it isn't really that hard. It's a matter of time. Yeah, what about fear? The whole patriarchic matrix, digital matrix, is built on the vibrational frequency match of fear. It's literally, the foundations are built on that. What do you think being saved is? Saved from what? They've got a concept called hell. Hell. It's one of the most brilliant but idiotic concepts ever devised. It's brilliant. because it's so incredibly, it gets people by the balls, man. It gets right in there. It's like a little virus that it wriggles right in and puts the fear of God into you. And the road to hell is lined with TV sets, and they're all switched on constantly 24/7, right? Ancient mind control technology, very good. That's better put than I could have. That's really, really good. I might borrow it, Patrick. Ancient mind control technology. So whenever you're feeling that, heaviness in your system, man, what will it take for me to change? Why am I like this? Why can't I change? I've tried, I've read books, I've done workshops, whatever it is. Weigh yourself, put yourself on one side of the scale and weigh yourself against the scale of getting paid and getting laid. And see, is it really that hard to change if you're given the right motivations? And then move from there. Move from there. It's not hard to change. It really isn't. And I'm here to tell you, in the middle years of my apprenticeship, I clearly remember telling anyone who would listen, look, man, if I can change, believe me, if I can change, there's nothing you cannot do. The mountains I've had to move inside myself to make piddly little changes, there's nothing you cannot do. You can change. You can change. And I still maintain that. Wow, if I can change, you can change. Anything that is stuck within you, and of course, within discernment, within reason, there are situations where getting laid, getting paid doesn't work. There are some people you can't buy them out. That's a powerful person. You can't buy them out by getting them laid. You can't buy them out by getting them paid. Now, I can tell you that's a rare person, and that's personal power right there. Yes, Sylvie, you're correct. And Sylvie, I'm assuming that name is female, so I want to make a special point about women. Is women, you prostitute yourself. Yes, you prostitute yourself far too easily. Any women who are watching this video in the future, I don't care, 100 years down the line, if YouTube still exists, it will have moved into the singularity, and that is coming. You want to be researching the singularity now. This video will always be there. It will be immortalized. And women, I want to tell you, you prostitute yourself for these two things. You do. And a lot of times, you need to cut those ties with that ex-boyfriend or ex-husband or ex-whatever. You need to cut ties with. Your conscience has been saying, you wouldn't even talk, you wouldn't even go near that guy if there wasn't this money going on, money hooks going on. And the second one, and far more damaging to women, their luminous egg, far more damaging, is the getting laid hooks, the hooks that women acquire and put onto others with the sex act. You would be very, very, very wise to be very careful who you let inside your body. The only problem is you will only be with who you think you deserve to be with. You will only ever end up with someone who you think you deserve to be with. Remember this one. If you can remember this one, it will automatically bring you wisdom. think about it. You will always end up with whoever you think you deserve to be with. What if you could learn to deserve better in yourself? Then the motivations of getting paid and getting laid in order to change wouldn't work for you, because you would have your engine running on different fuel. You see? Your engine would run on a different fuel. A fuel that is self-generated rather than externally hooking onto someone else's electricity in order to siphon it off. Which makes the average man's world very weak. Tonito, I read that one. Oh, that was booyah, that one. Jake, what you got to say to that one, mate? You guys are funny. Brilliant. In that case, when he said we're expecting a baby. Ooh. Jake, are you sure? You sure who it is? I'm just joking, man. Don't take it seriously. I'm really just having fun. It's good. It's good. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I like to hang out with you guys. So think about this, guys. Obviously, it's a video with a little interesting topic. You know, verify it in yourself. Do you have a baby, Anaam? No, I am. You're looking at a baby. And verify these things for yourself. You may find a lot more wisdom in it than you initially thought. If you feel like, no, that doesn't apply to me. Well, before dismissing it, really take a good hard look. You might find that those motivations run deep. They run deep, man. They run deep. Yeah. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hilarious. Hilarious. I love it. And I won't make any promises because I've been wanting to do a video as well. So depending on how I feel, I might open a live again next Sunday, 8 p.m., 8-ish p.m. Yeah, we have someone who took things a bit too seriously. It's called self-importance in Toltec terms. But you know, the problem is we are all convinced we're better than we really are, right? And when life evidence shows anything otherwise, we tend to dismiss it. Anyway, I'll leave you with that one. Yeah, good. Don't take it seriously. These are jokes. All right, self-importance alert. Yeah, you see, someone else picked up on it. I love you, man. Jake, I love you. Patrick, I love you. Herbert, I love you. Tonito, well done. Jake, we are joking. You always tend to ignore my messages. Let's put it this way. I'm not obliged to give my attention to them. You see? Think of it like that. So, on that note, Herbert's asked a really good question that'll keep me here. Oh my God. Now that topic is a great way to keep me talking. That topic is a great way to keep me talking. Herbert is saying, Anaam, how can one be really more humble? I'll tell you a very interesting story, Herbert, which I rarely tell people. It's about me. When I was in that Christian cult, yes, I'm not obliged. Just because you ask a question doesn't mean that you're entitled to someone else's attention. You understand that? You're starting to make me stalk you, so zip your lip, or you'll find yourself on your bike. So don't trifle with power here. Okay, so let's get back to humbleness. At one point, when I was a Christian, there's something happened a certain setting, something happened which got me thinking about what is really humility? What is humbleness? Because another person took me aside and gave me a real what for about it. If you have to say that, then you're not humble, mate. Go and find out what humility really means. And save your energy for now. Stop commenting, save your energy. So, and that really got me thinking, because I was like, no, I disagree. I was not being, prideful in that situation. But I said, but I don't know. I don't know what humility is. Let's find out. Good, thank you. Let's find out. And so I said, okay, the Bible, Christian Bible. So I said, let's look in the Bible. I'm going to scour every page in this holy book and find out what it says about humility and learn. Humility. What is it? What does it mean? How does it feel to behave in a humble way? So I went on a whole pilgrimage about the word humility. And as is fortunately my predilection, I really went to town with it. I dug deep, man. I dug deep. I went and bought books written by Christian authors about humility and God's grace and blah, blah, blah. And I really started mulching the Bible. And of course, in the New Testament, looking at Jesus' life and humility. And I was at it relentlessly for almost 2 years. And believe me, I was at it. And you know what I found? I found something very interesting. And this is just the Bible, right? Not even like an actual thing. The Bible has some incredible stuff in there. I started finding patterns about myself. Is that what I thought was humility and what I had been taught was humility and being humble was complete nonsense. It was actually me trying to hide self-importance in the guise of being polite. And I learned that trick very well. I was actually a self-important fuck, and I still am. But I'd learned to hide it. I'd learned to put a sheen on it. And we understand that as social politeness. Still the same pus-filled idiot inside. And then I started seeing a different picture emerge. That humility had very little to do with what others think of you. And humility had a lot to do with how to honestly express oneself. I bet that put a corkscrew in your understanding, right? The more you can learn to honestly express yourself, and that means you have to get very honest with yourself. We are obsessive liars, obsessive, compulsive liars to ourselves. We really are. We really are. But if we can learn, it takes time. It took me years and years and serious ass kicking from my benefactors, some serious no nonsense approach for me to start looking, okay, I need to get brutally honest. I'm constantly deceiving myself and others. I'm constantly doing it. Oh my God, I did it again. Oh, I did it again. My thoughts are self-deceiving. So who am I really? Who am I outside of this? And that's what took me into discovering my predilections, right? And if you can honestly express yourself, K. Dot, that's a huge question. I'd like to do a whole live on that one. So hold on to that. If you can remind me next time, I'll be happy to take that one on. So staying on humility. If I could stop lying to myself and become clear inside, gain clarity about my own flow, and then in appropriate ways, of course, with discernment, with maturity, with wisdom. Learn to express myself honestly. Be myself. Oh my God, just be yourself. Be yourself. It doesn't matter. Most people will hate you for it. I can guarantee you this. Because it'll trigger their self-importance. They will crucify you for it. But you know what? It's worth it. Just be yourself. And go on a whole pilgrimage with it. Take 10 years to find out what it means. And that's when I realized I was able to be humble in the best way possible. You know what triggered that? There's a scene in the New Testament where Jesus goes off to the temple, the Hebrews temple, and he sees these people in the marketplace selling pigeons for sacrifice and scam things going on, making money out of it. And he goes into a rage. This is a guy supposed to be holy and always navel gazing and enlightened, and this chap goes into a whole rage. And I mean serious. He single-handedly whipped. It took, if I remember correctly, he took some kind of thing, a stick or something. He picked up a stick and flew into a rage, started beating the sellers, driving them out of the temple. And I said, well, that's not humble, is it? A year later, 2 years later, I realized that that is very humble. If he hadn't done that, he would have gone against his own conscience. Now, of course, discernment should be part of it in the modern world. At least you get coppers, all these you'll get arrested, right? So rest assured, the point being, humility isn't what you think it is. I urge you to go on a whole pilgrimage with it. Use the external tools you find, whatever. Your unbending intent will take you to people, places, and knowledge, books, articles, videos, and give yourself a couple of years. It's well worth it. To understand self-importance at deep levels is well worth it. And go on this and let your body take you and gain that wisdom. You'll find so much about yourself that is false programming running there. Advertisements you looked at, you watched when you were 2 years old, 1 year old, 3 years old. They're contributing, they're still going on. They're contributing to your self-importance right now. Right now. The predator has a mean trick to play. The predator takes the mating instinct in the average man and heightens it. The average man and woman is constantly turned on to a hyper level. Like that, constantly turned on, constantly. Most people are not aware. They're not aware of that level of sex blasting coming at them from every single angle. That subliminal force that was started in you when you started watching ads and TV programs when you were 1 year old, 6 months old. Now these kids have tablets. They have porn, and when they're 6, 7 years old, they can if the parents aren't watching, they can go on a porn site. By 10 years old, they know all about porn. That's how bad it is now. That's what's going in. And that shit stays for life, man. You have to really get self-aware. You really have to do some plumbing work, some drain cleaning in there to figure out what the hell is swimming around in there. So the predator you're up against is no joke. It's a very stupid predator. It's very predictable, but it is very clever and very cunning and extremely powerful because it controls your perception. Remember this. It controls your perception. If you can wrest the power of perception away from the predator and wrest it squarely into yourself. You choose what you perceive and how you perceive. It takes a lot of work, a lot of deprogramming the cult mindset. The average man exists in a cult, in a self-perpetuating cult. Then you have a chance. Then you have a chance. On that note, I shall bid you adieu, farewell. I shall see you next time. Thank you for your energy, your attention, your time. Your time is precious. I understand that. And I value, I really do. I value anyone who comes to this channel in order to either discuss intelligently, don't prove you're a fool by your words, discuss intelligently, ask questions, or in order to learn, right? I value those people a lot. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I love hanging out. I love the jokes and everything. It's brilliant. So, value this community. It won't be around all the time, forever and ever. I have limited time here and I'm not even exaggerating. Value this time. These are golden times. Grow, change, evolve, and do it without the need to be bribed with getting paid and getting laid. On that note, walk in freedom. Walk in freedom. Walk in freedom. And I'll see you next week. Bye for now.